This is Baldur's Gate 3. We're here on Xbox Series X. Be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. The Game of the Year winning title is finally available on the platform. And it's taken a while to get here, but the results are rather excellent. So we have a couple different video options. We have performance and we have quality mode. So, well, basically you turn performance off. So as it notes, it's 1440p is kind of what's happening. So when you turn off performance mode, it's like a full 1440p at 30 FPS. And you know what? It does look a little sharper, a little cleaner. But honestly, I think the performance and stuff just feels a lot more natural for the characters. So this one, when it goes to 60 FPS, which you can kind of notice pretty quickly, it will be like a sort of temporal scaled element, so it should be something like, I don't know, like 1080 around there, kind of bumping up to 1440p. And yeah, the game looks really, really great, like from a visual and aesthetic standpoint. It's a very, very nice looking experience. Okay, well that's a bit creepy. Just gonna go right back down here. There's HDR support, and there's a local co-op for 2, online co-op, I guess up to 4, and yeah, it's kind of really, really great looking. It's just remarkable. And I haven't played too much into it. I'm about 4 hours or so in at this current point in time, so I am expecting to do a full review hopefully later on as well, but that's going to take a long time. But I wanted to come in and talk about the technology and the look of the game and everything like that, because I do think it's kind of wonderful thus far. It's incredibly complex. I don't think I've seen a game where there's literally this much kind of like density. Like there's just so many choices and customization and weird highlights and interactions, and it's kind of crazy. Honestly, the amount of stuff that's present within this game, it kind of blows my mind. It really genuinely is wild. So anyways, you make choices and you pass charismatic checks. It embodies the magic and the power of Dungeons and Dragons, which is kind of wild. And then you kind of like, you build a team. So what you're doing is you're compiling a squad, and you are going out on adventures. And there's like a greater squad, and you have like a camp. It's a whole thing. This is just kind of the opening. It's a good thing to kind of like introduce you to the game and kind of give you the concept of how it plays and how it looks and everything like that. It's actually kind of amazing. This game is just filled with wild levels of depth and crazy action. So for combat, it is turn-based, and there are many ways to kind of inspect and command your troops and prepare for battle. And then you've got like in-depth character sheets with all types of loot and equipment, and you have characteristics that you've chosen. You could spend probably at least a good 20 minutes customizing your character. I just kind of made a quick character here. I don't know if this one will be saved. I just kind of wanted to jump in and be able to play it really fast, right? And then you've got all these wheels of like abilities, and then there's the looting and all the skills, and yeah, the game really is quite wild. And there are full tutorial elements too in regards to, you know, basically learning the game. I've already done all that stuff, so I kind of, yeah, I guess you would say finished everything, if that makes sense, in regards to kind of being taught. But yeah, it's a genuinely great experience. Are you serious? You're like right there, but you're not enough movement to actually attack this thing? Okay, there we go. I was like, what are you doing? There's also like just a host of options. So you can choose tutorials on or off. Oh, I thought they were kind of... Oh, it's resetting tutorials, yeah. And then your autosaves, you can adjust further. You only get 5 as a max on here. But they really do just have like a range of things. It's good to actually look at the controller to kind of set things up. RT plus Y is how you do like a quick save, which is super, super helpful. And yeah, the game does have mature content to it. So you could, you know, see some stuff if you like, but you can also turn it off from the settings. It's like basically the first thing you get asked. Obviously, for doing videos, it's a bit of a disappointment that I have to turn off mature stuff, because, you know, honestly, mature adult, I like to see it. But, yeah, you know, you kind of take what you can get, right, for that sort of content. Anyways, the combat's really, really quite cool. I like the setup of it, I like the design of it. And as you continue to play, it continues to get more and more complex. And the game itself continues to get more and more complex as you build a party, interact with your characters, explore. Like I said, there's like you have like a camp for your like squad, and you all interact there. You can do quick rests, turn-based mode, switch between the two, combat logs, your spell book, your alchemy stuff. You've got like a map that you can interact with, and you know, there's these like restoration points. And it's a game where I do, like, if you've never played this before, this type of game, make sure you are saving often, quick saving often, because the save points can be a little intensive, like as in not super great for you. So you want to make sure that you are saving. Wow, I lost a lot of health on that. Just gonna go back down and give myself a little bit of a bump up. Can we actually go? Yeah, okay, we could do that. Good, 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 good. So yeah, this is the Divinity 4.0 engine. So if you're coming from Larian's other titles, you should be right at home. But I think things have evolved quite a bit, which is kind of like, again, this is really amazing. You know, it's one game of the year, I think, for a reason in 2023. You know, I'm, like I said, just kind of getting into it. I've got a lot to, I guess you would say, learn and interact with, and there's so many creatures and events I have to have, because this game has romance and treachery and twists and turns, and you could be like, you know, charismatic, or you can lack charisma entirely. You could do skill checks for all kinds of situations. I went toe-to-toe with the squirrel, and the squirrel gave me a reward and said I was okay to be in the squirrel's territory. There's like druids, and like there's all these different classes. There's like, you could be like a mage or a sorcerer, and you could be like an elf, or you know, there's so much to this game. Don't worry, we'll save you. I have to go and do this thing over here first. So yeah, the game's about heavy role-playing. I think this thing says you're beautiful if you talk to it. Aww. Ain't that just cute? And there's like so many things you can gather and collect and interact with. It's a pretty crazy experience, honestly. And I was hoping that we'd have more of like an in-depth sort of review thing right away, but stuff doesn't always work out. But yeah, it's just like, it's a very, very interesting experience. There's layers upon layers of depth and creativity in this game, from like your various types of like items you have, to how many different types of abilities and spells and tools, and it's insane. And it's very, very long. Like, if you enjoy this type of gameplay, it is something where you can sit there for like tens and tens and tens and tens of hours, maybe, I don't want to say hundreds, but over 100 hours perhaps, depending on how fast you go. And then you can like replay with different characters and get different, you know, setups and scenarios and different people in your parties, and There's different senses of mystery as you work towards the Baldur's Gate, and you know, it is a legacy series, but you can come in completely fresh into this one. You don't have to really have the knowledge of like previous Baldur's Gate stuff. You literally can just come in fresh, have a great time. I don't think there's many games that are quite worth the amount of like game time you get out of them. Like this game is just stuffed, absolutely stuffed with content, and it all seems to run pretty well, at least from what I've seen. Haven't noticed any problems. Well polished, visually impressive. Just the texture work for the characters, the designs, everything is really, really well polished and put together, which is great. I thought you were done for too, Shadowheart. Join my squad. Become one with the team.
That damn thing was going to be my coffin. Thank you.
No problem. We're connected by an ethereal force together. But yeah, I really do genuinely think this is, again, from what I've seen already, just such an incredible role-playing game. And it's like you can interact with literally, you know, like almost every NPC, it feels like, has like a little bit of a story or something like that. Like we were in a camp and I was just talking with all these individuals. There's action and humor and just ridiculous layers to this game. Absolutely ridiculous layers. And the real magic of it too is like you can play it entirely by yourself if you want to and have a like wondrous time, or you can also play it with others. And there's kind of not a lot of games of this design that actually do allow you to do that kind of thing. Are we going the wrong way? I'm going the wrong way, I think. Yep, this is the wrong way. Go the other way, guys. Go the other way. Sorry, Shadowheart. Let's go through this weird squid monster stuff. And then this game has like these stunning cinematics to them. Just really, really great visual, like pre-rendered cinematics, and then there's their in-game stuff, and then there's like the dialogue conversations where you're talking to each other and it goes back and forth, but there's sway and movement in the characters. It feels natural and exciting.
Once inside, do as I say.
Ooh.
With you in charge, I'll trust my own
And then the voice performances are excellent. The characters are all well designed and thought out. I literally lit myself on fire before going into this battle where I already have very low health. And you'll also, as you improve, like the environment is just filled with things that are trying to like kind of kill you, like passive traps and stuff. But as you continue to improve, your character will level and you'll get like deeper and deeper levels of like, because there's subclasses. And there's deeper levels of skills you get, and more abilities, and the more tools you have at your tool set, the more comfortable you become at like taking out folks and using strategy. But it's so funny too, because you can have like battles where it should be simple, like, oh, I've got a bunch of goblins ambushing me, not a big deal. Then the goblins will like shoot down grease, and your like characters will slide and hurt themselves, and then the goblins will light that grease on fire. It's genuinely entertaining. Like, just kind of amazing, the combat style of play. I really do love what they've put together here. It's such an intriguing sort of thing. Oh, it's dead. That's funny. Okay. Yeah, I don't know, like there's kind of every now and then a few games that you kind of dive into right off the bat and you're like, whoa, this is so cool and exciting. And I kind of skipped the opening thing, so that should be a bit of a surprise to you, I guess, to some degree if you go and play it for the first time. What I'm mostly trying to say is, like, if you're looking at this and you're like, oh, I'm curious about it, or I've wanted to play it, and you kind of find it intriguing, like the style of gameplay, it's just gonna be an absolute treat for you. And I just feel like I'm getting, you know, I'm just on the start of it too. Like, there's so much that I want to, like, play and see in this game, and it's like, it's gonna be so difficult to find all the time, but I'm sure it's gonna be a great experience. Yeah, I did like 1 damage on that thing. So we have X amount of turns to go do this. There's all these contingencies and stuff with turn-based games. Look at these character models, though. I'm so disappointed that we didn't get this earlier on Xbox. Kind of makes me feel like we missed out on this huge, culturally important sort of game. And it's nice to finally have it right here at the time of doing this, like right ahead of the holidays, which is great. Because it's something where people are going to be able to kind of be primed to get in here and stuff. Because, yeah, just like, look at this. You know, I know it's not like necessarily like a full 4K resolution stuff, but it actually cleans up really, really well. Like, I am actually genuinely shocked at what they were able to like do with the visuals and stuff. Like, it's so incredibly detailed and whatnot.
Let's go.
Miraculous, actually, just straight up miraculous. I think they definitely need a bit of props for what they were able to achieve with this version of the game. And I am hoping that the rest of it, you know, kind of holds up as much. And that's where I'm saying I'm really hoping I can deliver a great level of, like, a review eventually, so that you are able to get, like, a more in-depth kind of perspective on this down the line. And it's just, like, obviously a rush to get everything in and give context and understanding so that you know, like, how it's looking, how it's running so far. I mean, at a perfect setup, I'd be able to have a pre-planned review and everything ahead of launch and that, but, yeah, you just kind of don't get that, do you? Really, really not that fortunate sometimes for showcasing games, but I do the best I can. Yeah, don't throw it at your teammate. Throw it at that giant hellsboar. Would be a great idea, right? Do you have a distance shot? You do, don't you? You have an arrow. Well, a bow and arrow. Look at the fire on that sword. Ah, it's so cool. And I think the combat actually feels pretty intensive, like being turn-based and stuff. Like, it actually works really, really well. Okay, can you throw a fire thing back at this enemy just to finish it off there? There we go. Yeah, kind of at enemies like right on our tails. Yeah, go click that thing. That would be great. Thank you so much.
The helm's alien transponder. You've made it in time.
And I love the integration of, like, the narrator with the skill checks. Like, it feels like somebody's telling the story of action that's going on, but I'm also, like, witnessing it. It all comes together in a very, very satisfying way. That is the biggest thing. Like, it is genuinely an impressive experience. And I've just got the really, really epic deciding focus where I just want to play a lot of this. Look how crazy this is. And this isn't even, like, there is actually, like, pre-rendered cutscenes that are just crazy levels of quality, which you expect for pre-rendered. You have these loading screens. That is one thing. It's like the loading can take a second at times, but it's really not too bad. And then when you get into kind of the main open worlds, the waypoints are pretty smooth too. So you get from one area to the next almost like instantly. It's just when you are going from segment to segment, it does can take a little bit of time. But really not too bad considering the scale of everything, honestly. Anyways, Baldur's Gate 3. Pretty amazing. At least so far. Check it out.